Hello and welcome to another episode of Heroes by the Pint. We are the nerd life talking, craft beer drinking superhero vigilantes here to rescue each and every one of you from bland beer and dull comics. We are the glassy-eyed geeks and we invite you to grab something cold in a bottle or can and crack it open and enjoy it with us. It's the waterworks every time. That's right. I am your host, Matthew Ellis. Joining me is Marcus Stevenson.
Daddy, can I do a kick?
We're the CNN guys right now. Who makes up the groomsmen? I think because it's such a big event, you got to bring old Joker. Just like bring him over.
I feel like he would probably officiate.
Yes.
Or I'll tell you one thing, hands down. I mean, I want Joker to throw my bachelor party.
Best bachelor party ever. You'll probably be dead the next day and not married, but still, best bachelor party
Yeah, that would hands down be the greatest bachelor party of all time.
Ever.
So,
yes.
Yeah, I think I would want Joker absolutely throw my bachelor party. And,
old Harley taking around town.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you figure Alfred's got to be the best man, right?
By default.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, Rob won't be pissed.
Right.
Like always.
Nightwing probably,
Yeah.
runner-up, and then, Damian Wayne.
Damon Wayans?
Damon Wayans.
he'll be in there.
Red Hood would be crashing the party. Just
Homie the Clown.
Right.
We're good.
Getting into what we're talking about this week, man. Legion.
Yes.
Right out of the gate, we said our bottle cap reviews 5 stars. Go ahead and jump into it, Marcus. What really kind of pushed you to what drew you to it so much?
Right away, it was the interpretation of the show wanting to be portrayed to the audience like it was a movie. And I'll give you an example. I love it when shows don't get into the credits right at the beginning. You don't
right.
For a show even last season to start off with the lack of a 2-minute intro
right.
before you get into it, and then conveniently place the title of the show in. It's those little things that I think count. So I think it started off on the right note for me right there. I was like, okay, I love this style already. It's an abstract show, and I mean that in the most positive way possible.
Right.
Because I appreciate the fact that it doesn't tell you anything and everything when you want it. You have to think about things. You have to piece things together. And I would say sometimes the plot of the show isn't always linear and it's not always connected. And I think that's okay. I think it makes up for it in its...
I could definitely say this. Watching Legion, you would have no idea if you were watching a side quest episode
yes.
or the real episode.
You're completely right.
You're saying, it doesn't tell you anything right out of the gate. I was just thinking, I was like, man, am I missing something? Because I don't know if it's told me anything yet. It is so confusing.
You question everything.
Yeah.
You're like, is that hospital real? Is he real?
Right.
Our
other glassy-eyed geek who isn't with us here today, Tony, he's like, I still think everybody is him and they're all in his head and nothing's real. I feel like it's going to be that scene from that Cusack movie. Is it
being John Malkovich?
No, well, that one. What was the one where the guy had multiple personalities and they're living out this battle?
Michael Keaton, Multiplicity?
Well, there's that one too. I feel like it could be anything like that.
Yeah.
They could at the end they could Vanilla Sky you
completely. And
just be like, oh, here's what happened.
Yeah.
He was in a coma the whole time. And you're like, okay, well,
yeah, I wouldn't be happy there.
No, I wouldn't either. But I'm just saying, right now, everything is
questionable.
Is so up in the air, and I still don't know if Sid is real, is truly real, because the character himself in the comic book world, Sid is one of his personalities. There's a female Sid who is I don't know if it's a telekinesis or or what her main power is, but he does have a personality inside him that is Sid, and I did love that reveal. I think it was like right when they found out that he was, not to jump ahead too many episodes. I'm sure we always jump around throughout the show when we're reviewing it and we're like talking about it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in this talking Legion, we're going to jump all over the place.
I can't
the
remember
show's all
what
over
Sid's
the place.
power is. Let's just call it trading places. It's the trading places power.
All right, it's Murphy.
Yeah, and Aykroyd, right?
Aykroyd.
Yeah.
Just going down the road, comedic hilarity ensues.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you on Sid. I think the show really wants to make it feel like.
When they talked about, back to the trading places with Sid,
Yeah,
sorry
yeah,
to jump in here.
No worries.
How do you like when she's like, "Oh yeah, I cranked out when I was young."
And he's like, really? No. But I wish I would have.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm like, I mean, I can see that.
He's like talking. He's like, "Well, I had to go pee, so I touched your boobs." I was like, "Oh well, I mean, I guess every girl probably does that."
Yeah,
I mean,
especially if you don't want to be touched. It's kind of like this, like, hey, man, like, fair game right now.
Right. Yeah, Sid's a great character. I really enjoyed the way they built the relationship early on. One of my favorite scenes is when they're walking down the hall and they're like holding that scarf together.
Yeah.
Like that was just like, I don't know, it held so much meaning in it. They're like both characters that have dealt with so much diversity in their, or controversy in their life, adversity in their life, and to see them coming together, and you can at that moment too, like David still is just so conflicted with like what's truly happening in his head, and I loved that. I loved that visual.
No, it was. The framing, they have like a Wes Anderson type quality to the cinematography of the show, like the way they frame everything. That was one of my favorite visuals too. In the first season was like the scarf or the rag or the towel that like connects them. There was this kid-like quality to that.
Absolutely.
They owned that asylum at the time, or the hospital. Going back to like what you were saying about like maybe Sid being one of his personalities, David's personalities, like I could buy that, because that's something that I will say. What a shift! I mean, in season 1, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 and 7. It was like that was almost the crossover of that season, because it was so formulaic up until that point, and then I feel like even Sid, like I think the show does a good job of like personalities changing very quickly, and like it makes the person question, like the viewer question everything.
Right.
Like, why's Sid acting like that? She doesn't act like that. She doesn't act like that. Excuse me, normally. So why's she doing that now? Like, you're kind of doing that with every character. Like, it's almost like I'll go back to wrestling because it's WrestleMania Day. It's like it's almost as if like someone on this on this wrestling roster in the ring is like the person who's going to turn. But you're trying to guess who it is, and it could be any of them.
Right.
And then it turns out to be all of them, and then like it just is. Yeah, I mean it's going to be a good. And then see and like the way it kicked off on.
Oh, season 2
Tuesday. Oh my god.
Season 2. Again, I just ran through it again, and I say this in every episode, like super visually stimulating, like artistic. They put it together in such a way that it just draws you in, and
completely.
And it's very abstract. But I hate to keep going back to some phrases like that I use regularly when I'm talking about things, but like this show especially does that in the way that they put together. For me, like the dance off, the dance fight between Oliver and David was just so incredible, man. I was like, I watched that 2 or 3 times in a row. I was just like, and also Oliver is, if we're getting into favorite characters, I think Oliver's my favorite.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
It's like that dude is the best. Right?
The dance off was incredible. I mean, it could have been Spider-Man 3 Tobey Maguire. It could have been that, but it wasn't. It wasn't. It was great, and it made sense. And I was thinking about this the other day when I was watching. Is like I think season 1 it was about the madness in David's head, clearly,
Right.
and getting the madness out. I think season 2, at least the way the episode started off, is David's now jumping into a new world because he's been gone for a year. He's jumping into a new world of madness. So maybe the world is all about madness, and the world the world is going to be crazy to him now, and which will further make him crazy.
How'd you like that ending where, you know, Sid comes to him when he first leaves Sid in that?
The time travel?
Yeah, the time travel
yeah.
where he's like,
Where they're using like infomercial white markers.
right. He's like essentially like stuck in time,
Yeah.
and she comes to him from the future and is like, help Farouk get to his body. Again, you never know where the manipulation's coming from. I mean, Farouk was some of the images, not Lenny, but some of the images of Farouk were
Terrifying.
so terrifying.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the kid with the paper mache mask
that
on.
haunted me.
Yeah, it was Farouk's main body, I guess, whatever. I think Tony said it looked like a possessed Twinkie. Which I was like, yeah, it kind of
It kind of looks
does.
like me. Like I take that one, but also kind of like a possessed Pringles can. To do that.
Yeah, so Farouk was so terrifying, and you know, I'm excited to see where they continue to like push the show. A character that I was surprised they did away with so quick was the Eye, and you know, when he's interrogating David's sister Amy, who
Yes.
is played by Katie
Hazelton?
Aselton. Yeah.
Yeah,
You said
yeah.
you're a big fan of her from
The League. Oh, she was the best in The League. Hey,
Yeah.
man, like, you're seeing her, like, just talking football, talking about, like, Brian Urlacher's stats, and you're like, okay, I can get down. Like, yeah, cool.
But I was surprised that they had done away with the Eye. It was played by Mackenzie, pulling his name up right now, Mackenzie Gray. And that dude was so creepy looking.
He did. He reminded me of a Doctor Who villain.
Yeah, and I loved when he was like interrogating Amy, and again, just back to the way the show is shot, and there's like these multiple layers, and they keep going around, and it's just his voice. Let's begin.
Yeah, let's begin.
Let's begin.
Oh, speaking of voiceovers, in season 2, the first episode on Tuesday, like, did you notice how they had a narrator, right?
Right.
That's John Hamm from Mad Men.
Oh
That's old
yeah.
Don Draper.
And John Hamm's got his
He's
hand
the
in
man.
everything.
Yeah, he's the new Morgan Freeman. He just narrates everything now. That's his new thing. But pretty soon he'll be on visas, like, it's everywhere you want to be type stuff.
Right. He's going to be hanging out with Jennifer Garner.
Yeah.
You're going to be
Yes.
like pitching you some Priceline stuff or whatever Jennifer Garner's on
Right.
now. But yeah, they did a great job with casting.
They did.
Oliver Bird
I was
played
surprised
by-
when I saw him. I was really, like, because the show was so intellectual and dark and had a really serious, gritty tone that when I saw him for the first time, I was like, I first questioned whether we need that comedic relief,
Right.
but then I was like, oh no, we do.
Then you questioned, where could I get a leisure suit like that?
Yeah, yeah.
That dude was polyestered up. How about when he was listening to like that abstract jazz?
Oh, that was so good. I was actually thinking, like, I think I could swing that.
Right.
I could probably listen to some of
What?
that.
Is that on iTunes?
Right,
What's
yeah,
that?
yeah. Like type in abstract jazz. It's like Poser, is that?
Yeah, he did an incredible job, man. Oliver Bird was so awesome, and I love the final scene of him and Lenny just kind of driving off into the sunset, and it's like one of those moments where you're like rooting for the evil in the show, because I mean they can't get rid of Lenny. I mean, the goddess Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, man, she was kind of like Zool in Ghostbusters meets like. I mean, it was nuts. She was incredible.
Yeah.
All throughout the show, I just couldn't. I still don't know whether she's Lenny or whether she's Benny or whether she's both, or Benny is not Lenny or Benny is Benny, or who is Benny and why does Benny exist? Like,
I gotta tell you from the start where she's this like, you know, mentally ill, like drugged out,
yeah,
you know, heroin,
like girl interrupted
meth,
type,
right,
yeah.
right, and then also that scene where everything blows up, and when Sid and David trade places, and then the Lenny is just like plastered in the wall.
Right. I was like, oh wait, they killed her already?
Right.
Like,
Right. I was so sad about that, and then she was just kind of coming back in these like visuals to David, and
yeah, that's right. But like kind of a ragtime feel, like.
and she just had some of the best, funniest lines. She's like rolling out with that stove,
Yeah.
and she's like trying to buy drugs, like trade this electric stove for some drugs, and she's like, "Oh, it was this girl I was finger banging gave me the stove, so let's get out of here." Yeah. it's like, man, you got a complicated relationship there, Lenny.
Man, thank you, FX.
Yeah, I mean, the makeup work they had done on her from episode to episode, you didn't know, like, 1 minute she just looked completely psychotic, and the very next minute she just looked like, you know, I mean, just gorgeous, like ball gown.
So do you think, okay, here's a question. Do you think that Farouk takes this, like, this persona of Lenny because it's David's interpretation of something? It feeds on David's inner psyche, or do you think that he just always takes on a visual of Lenny? Because it really felt like at first Lenny for David was like his imaginary friend.
Right, yeah.
And it made me feel like he created Lenny. But I know it was one of Farouk's like personas, but at the same time, I'm just trying to figure out chicken or egg, which came first. Like his thought was it preyed off of David's thoughts or no?
Yeah, I don't even know how to respond.
I know, I got all mad there.
I'm like, I mean, I would, you know, if I could live inside of Aubrey Plaza's body, you know, if I could take that form, I'd be into that.
Yeah, no, that's true.
How did you like episode 6 where they turned it around and she was the psychiatrist and she was like diagnosing everybody? Honestly, that could have been a moment for me where, like, season end, like, they end it right there and you're like, oh, okay, it all was inside David's brain, and they were all patients inside this like mental hospital. But to me, episode 6 really turned it back around. Like, I got a little lost in 4 and 5 because they were so abstract, and you know, he's walking through the astral plane and climbing up a ladder into an ice cube.
Yeah, that was so cool. That visual was awesome.
And then
with like a deep, like 20,000 leagues under the sea, like deep, like
for sure.
sea, like.
For sure. And you know, Oliver's essentially telling him like, hey, you know, at that time you don't know it's Farouk or the Shadow King, but he's like, he can't get to you in here. And, you know, they're like hanging out, and then David, because he has this overwhelming sense, like, you know, he's discovering himself, but you can tell he's an individual who like wants to do good. Like he cares deeply about, you know, the people, and you know, that he's like now associated with. Melanie Bird, who is played by Jean Smart, and I mean, does that woman age?
No.
I mean, she's like, you know, just as beautiful as I remember her in my youth. And I swear she's not aging.
She and Jessica Lange, man. What's going on?
Yeah, they're just like
timeless.
The game.
Timeless.
That's right. Where do you get your product?
Yeah, I want what she's having.
Yeah, I need some of that. I already look older than both of them. But yeah, I just, like I said, to see David's character in that state, and then he's like, no, I have to go back. I have to save my friends. And you kind of have this feeling with Oliver at that point, like maybe he didn't go back. You know, Melanie talks about how he was like building this world in the astral plane, and maybe he was fearful for his life, that he was going to be approached by Farouk or the Shadow King, and
Yeah, no, I mean, like episode 6, like bringing it back to like that original question of like, okay, I thought episode 6 I was confused. I mean, obviously, like it was like, wait, why is
just on episode
why is
6?
like, well, no, I mean, like, but more confused. Like I really felt like I was understanding what it was building towards. Because I thought the 1 through 5 of the first season was really all about David and David's realization of what he is inside his own head. But then they started to really go to other pieces and parts. And then when it got to 6, it was completely other pieces and parts. And then all of a sudden it got flipped on its head. And it was so confusing to me because the whole time I'm like, why is this happening?
Right.
And I think that was the point. Like it wanted to add, like the show wants you to ask those questions. So when I think about how it connected, of course it's so Legion now. Like that's got to be a thing. It's so Legion that episode 6, the transition episode, the episode that kind of like bridged the rest of the season with the previous. Of course, that was as crazy as it was, and as hard to understand as it was, as surreal as it was, because that's just Legion. That's what they do.
Yeah, it was. They've done a great job. Episode 6, I loved the visual layout, and it had kind of like a Bond intro feel. Yeah. When Lenny kind of starts dancing around throughout, and it's like this red backdrop, and it's just her silhouette, and she's like, and the music, like I said, it just had a very like Bond intro feel. Like I was waiting for,
Oh, they had Pink Floyd, remember?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is incredible.
Yeah, they've done a great job laying the soundtrack out, everything, and I guess jumping more into where you see season 2 going. Yeah,
it's so hard. It's so hard.
Well, obviously, yeah, we have no idea. I told someone the other day, it was actually Laura from Secret Identity. I was like, Legion makes Donnie Darko look like Dr. Seuss.
That's right. You told me that too, and like I didn't know what you meant. I totally know what you mean now. Like you feel like you understand it, and you're gonna have to go see it again and again and again.
And
but
still
that's part of the ride. It's part of the journey, and I love it. Like that's kind of why I love it so much, is because I have no idea what's gonna happen, and it's not formulaic. As a matter of fact, it's like anti-formulaic.
Yeah, it's a deep thinker for sure.
Yeah, I mean, where do I think it's gonna go? I mean,
well, how did you like in the beginning? You have Lenny and Oliver laying on that pool mat,
and they're like, "We're trapped." Whose head were they inside?
To me, I don't know.
It wasn't Gandhi,
but when they panned out, that looked like the Sanctum Sanctorum in Paris. Like it looked like the Doctor Strange, like the way that window was set up, and it was like overlooking the Eiffel Tower. Like to me, that looked like, does that tie into like some Doctor Strange type world? Because that's the way the window layout was, and then and then it pans out into the guy with the basket on his head.
Yeah.
And then his like
Raiden from Mortal Kombat.
Right. And then his smoking hot chicks with those
mustaches.
Sweet mustaches.
Oh man, bonkers.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way to say it. It was bonkers. But only can they pull this off in Legion. Like,
yeah,
my wife, I was telling you earlier, my wife really loved it. Like,
yeah.
I was grinding through it again, and she loved it, and she was like, I'm really surprised it's popular because it's not linear, it's not straightforward for people to just, you kind of got to hope between episodes. You're like, okay.
You have no idea what's coming next.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tune in next and it could be like an episode of Friends. Like, you have no clue, man. I liked, I can't remember his name, the guy.
Jeremy Harris?
Yeah, his character's name is...
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to butcher it.
Patanomy.
Wallace. I really loved the way he was like very hesitant on David. Like, he knows he's hiding something. And I felt he was very much like the voice of reason in the first season, too, where he's like, no, like, this is not helping us.
I mean, let's be real, though. David's faces in, like, the first, episode 1 through 4 were some of the creepiest grins.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Because you were still questioning, who is this dude?
Right,
And, like,
right.
I was comparing him. He had that kind of, like, really sinister grin, like Malcolm McDowell in Clockwork Orange. I was like, oh, you're creepy, man.
Yeah, dude, he's holding that character down, dude. He's doing a great job. I can't believe Ryan couldn't make it today. I mean, Ryan would be all about, I know he's all about that guy because he's in Downton Abbey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know that's Ryan's, like...
It's his jam.
That's right.
It's his jam.
He's like, strong love interest. I mean... yeah, they've done an incredible job with casting. And back to Aubrey Plaza, I feel like I could have just done this entire episode on Aubrey Plaza alone. Like, the way they built Lenny up and, like, how much, like... Is infatuation too strong of a word?
No.
The right word.
She's the so right kind of Jiminy Cricket.
Right. So, like, I've tried to hold back from just strictly talking about, like, Aubrey Plaza and her character, but honestly, I was a little, I don't know, maybe shocked isn't the right word either, but, like, man, she just really brought it, dude. Like, she can act. Like, something I always say, like, her acting chops were on point. To see her go from Parks and Rec and just play this, like, disgruntled millennial.
Yeah, I mean, I always compare her to, like, the 90s, like, cartoon Daria. I always felt like she was Daria, like, in everything. I felt like that's just her personality, is like, she just has a storm cloud over her all the time, and that's the part she plays. But, man, she really showed it off here.
Yeah, she crushed it, man.
Yeah.
She really brought it to this character.
So where are they going to go?
I think I liked season 2's, what I imagine is getting ready to build in season 2. I think I like it a little bit more than the storyline or the thoughts of what was happening in season 1. Like, I like this idea of, it also seems too, because David has this inner monologue going on, which is, you have this feeling that it's other personalities. His other personalities, like, talking to him inside of his own head, and you can tell he has a secret. So I don't know, I'm really excited for season 2. I'm excited to see this build up of what's going to transpire between David almost being like a double agent or a...
Right. Or maybe we'll find out who the hell picked him up in that sphere ball.
Yeah.
That was so random. They're just out on the balcony. Zip! Ah!
Yeah, that's not what I would envision time traveling. I was waiting for Doc to roll up in a DeLorean, grab him up.
Marty!
Marty!
It's your kids!
We need you, David! We need you back in the future!
No, it was, I have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, you have to think that...
Hopefully more dance fighting.
I mean, that'd be great if that was like all of a sudden it was like Ryan Murphy from Glee started to do the dance routines, and every single week there was like a new cover.
It was like the Electric Boogaloo, Breaking 2, the Electric Boogaloo. They're just like every week they're like shaking it down, man. The dance moves were tight, dude.
Yeah. All of a sudden you'll see Teenage Dreamin' and it's like next week, crazy. No, they were really good. It was a lot of fun. It's fun. It's serious. It's just it has depth. The show has a lot of depth. Season 2 started off with a bang because it put us right out there again of wondering what the heck is going on. And you kind of, just when you think you kind of have it figured out, it throws a curveball.
Yeah.
And we, like you said at the start, Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball.
That's right. That's right. How did you feel about Carrie Loudermilk and Carrie Loudermilk?
I mean, Carrie and Carrie?
Carrie and Carrie, dude.
Yeah. It was interesting at first. I was like, first it started off a little creepy, I'll be honest. I was like, wait, like,
it was strange.
This is weird. But then, like...
The way they kept splitting in the scene, like, you didn't, it was like, you honestly didn't know that they were the same person, but the way they would split, she would just kind of show up, and she would be like, a helping hand,
Mhm.
and
And then the room would pan, and then all of a sudden you wouldn't see her again.
Right.
And then I think they did a really good job post episode 6 of explaining their relationship a lot better. I think episode 1 through 5 I was bordering on, okay, this is getting a little creepy territory. But now I get it. And, you know, I appreciate it. I think she did overreact a little bit about him leaving her.
yeah, I thought so too. I mean, he's trying to like save the day.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's trying to like.
I'm like, that's a
get
bit
David-
of an overreaction.
He's like essentially trying to get David to like let go,
Right.
set them free. Right now, I'm trying to look up who the.
Some of the side characters were great. Like Dr. Kissinger was awesome, and then all of David's doctors were wonderful. Actually, Dr. Poole was incredible.
Yeah.
The doctor
Yeah.
who now mans the lighthouse.
Yeah, that was awesome. Or does he?
Well, that's right. It was a cool looking lighthouse too.
Yeah, it was.
That's one thing is we don't know what time period this is in.
Right.
No
Yeah,
one has any
you have
idea.
no clue, and you know you don't know like how is this going to tie in to like kind of the X-Men like storylines or you know anything throughout. I mean, the way I understand it too, you know, Tony, I wish he was here today. Like he has a much stronger understanding of Legion. He's on a poll for some Legion comics. He's been into
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's been on the newest run, and he's way into it. But essentially, Legion is to like a god level mutant. Like he is
Yeah.
more powerful than he even knows, and each one of his personalities has a different power level.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, yeah, I mean, it's one of those characters, you know, we were talking about the CW to start with, and, you know, a character like Green Arrow or on the Netflix like Daredevil, there's only so much you can do. They can only live inside this one box.
That's right.
As where a storyline like Legion could be so vast, because, I mean, nothing is off the table.
And I really don't care if it connects.
No.
I really don't care.
Well, I'm interested. You said you talked about that little
The Easter egg of
the Easter egg.
It's Xavier's wheelchair from X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was tight, man. I mean, they're doing some cool stuff. You
Yeah.
know, I mean,
I was telling my wife, I was saying, Hannah, like I think of all of the Marvel like shows, this one's probably my favorite because it's the most thought provoking to me.
I feel like that's kind of been everyone's take on it. Everyone is like, yeah, I got to be honest, it's probably not my favorite.
Yeah,
I love it.
you can't break Jessica Jones's heart.
Well, that is the
She'd
truth.
slap
That
me.
is the truth. Yeah, it's not my favorite, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I mean, I tell everybody listening, get on Legion. The
Yeah.
first season is 8 episodes, super bingeable.
It's on Hulu right now.
Yeah, you can crush through it. Get caught up, jump right into this second season, because this second season is, I mean, I'd say it's going to be fire.
It's a hit.
Yeah.
It's a bona fide hit.
Yeah, it's
I went
crushing.
back and I looked at reactions of episode 1 of season 2, and the reactions have been as good, if not better, than reactions to season 1.
Right.
I mean, I think they have a hit on their hands. Like, and part of it is just purely the directing of oh my god, what is his name?
Yeah,
What am
the
I
director's.
He's
there's a
unbelievable
number
because
of
he
directors.
did some great stuff previously. Noah Hawley. Noah Hawley did. He did the Fargo TV show, which Fargo is.
Fargo was
like,
awesome.
heralded as like one of the best.
Yeah, Fargo was awesome. Yeah, I mean, they got a laundry list of directors that have been involved in season 1 and what's going to happen in season 2. Not a lot of directors that I could say like are household names with me. There's no Spielberg. But,
yeah, there's no Spielberg.
but I mean, I'm not someone who keeps up on like directors, things like that. But I have to say, like, the show itself is just absolutely crazy and unbelievable. It's just like,
I'm looking at this IMDb right now to see who's going to be directing some episodes of this season, and they have Amir Poor, who directed one of my favorite independent films of all time, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. It's set in Iran about a late night Iranian vampire and it's insane, and it's amazing, and oh my god, of course this show is gonna have her direct. Now this show is just, it cares. That's what I'll say again. From the aesthetic of the visuals on screen to the graphics that they use to present the opening title to the graphics they use to show the credits at the end, everything is manufactured perfectly.
How about the waffle boat?
Oh god.
When it like flashes Legion, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, that looks cool, and then a waffle boat rolls over
Right
it.
now with some waffles.
It's like, oh man, that's great. I mean, Legion's thing for waffles, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every time he gets out of some hellhole or some like,
I kind of
prison,
like waffles are back. I kind of like how waffles are back. We got 11 and we have Legion.
they're coming back, bud.
Yeah, Ego is back.
That's
like,
right.
Hannah said, my wife said to me the other day, she's like, you know, I was kind of thinking about picking up some Egos at the store. I'm like, they're still good.
That's right. You're like, walk in there, grab 10 boxes, and just walk out. Crush the door if you have to, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
So, battle 11 versus Legion.
David's winning.
Yeah.
David's like, I mean, David is just, it's weird to say because it's this like niche television show, and I don't even want to say niche because it's really popular now, but like niche in terms of subject matter. On FX, you could almost say it's a little show, it's not, but I kind of am almost like, well, he's the most powerful character I've seen.
Yeah, ever. And he doesn't even know it. That's what's like. That's what's great. Is like David still has limited knowledge of his power. Like he is like, you know, he's just kind of been manipulated his whole life, and
We can't even describe it, how his power, like the show can't even describe it. That's how powerful you know someone is when all of its supporting cast members are like, I don't know, power.
right.
Just lots of power. Why are we chasing him? Because he's really powerful.
As Palpatine would say.
Unlimited power.
Yeah, so
Oh, man.
I'm guessing from your reaction, Marcus, if you could give it more than 5 bottle caps, you would.
Season 1. Like
Marcus?
I wouldn't have needed a season 2. I have to be real. Like
You could've
I
just
felt
stopped
like it
right
was
there.
a really cool package right there. And but season 2, I think that's why everyone loves season 2 so far with episode 1, is because I think we were kind of good and we didn't expect season 2 to just kick off like that, and it has exceeded our expectations. So yeah, if I could give it more than 5 bottle caps right now, I would. I mean, but like any show, you never know.
Right,
Like
you
season
never know.
3 could just destroy it
Right.
forever.
Right. I have to say, the one thing I need to see in season 2, where it's going to get a 0 bottle cap, Oliver and David better get that barbershop quartet up off the ground. Even if it's just for fun, I want to see it. All right, man. Yeah, nothing but positive things to say about Legion. So
Told you it was going to be overly positive.
Yeah.
Like we like the beer, we like
yeah, everything was all hugs and kisses in this episode. I cannot wait to see where season 2 continues to go. We will do a season finale episode of Legion, no doubt, because I know we're super hyped, and the rest of the Glassy Eye Geeks who couldn't be here are also super hyped on this show. So we're definitely going to check in for a season finale of Legion. And, we got a lot of really fun stuff coming up. I know you're pretty excited. We're going to be changing a little bit of the format of the show at some point. We're going to be doing some interviews with some comic creators, which I am incredibly excited about. We have a few of those lined up right now.
And they are too, surprisingly.
Again, I tell you, man, you show up with a microphone, people are like, yeah!
Yeah, this isn't a pencil.
It's like,
I don't have to autograph anything for you.
you seem a little intoxicated. And I'd be like, well, if I only seem a little intoxicated, then I'm pulling it off better than I
You seem a little intoxicated. Well, hell yeah, that's why I have a microphone in the Comic-Con right now.
You should see the guy with his eyes rolling in the back of his head.
Sorry, guys.
Some inside jokes there,
Yeah.
but yeah, we got some really fun things we're getting ready to do with the format of this show, and we just want to send a huge thank you out to everyone who has continued to support us and listening each and every week. It means the world to us. We're having so much fun doing this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, tell a friend, tell anybody who will listen to you. Head over to heroesbythepint.com. Click on that microphone at the bottom of the page. Hit us with a little bit of beer fund money, and tell everybody you know about us. hit us with those 5-star reviews, and
Come drink a beer with us.
that's right. That's right.
Secret Identity Comics.
That's
What's
right.
the date?
April 17th
April 17th.
at midnight, but it's technically April 18th at that point.
Yeah.
It's the witching hour.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Come.
Nothing good happens after 10 p.m. and nothing good will be happening that night, except Action Comics 1000. Get your hands on that. That's going to be pretty good. Like I said, we would like to remind each and everybody listening, head over to heroesbythepint.com. Over there you can find a backlog of all of our old episodes. You can link over to any social media format that you prefer. You can also link over to all of our streaming services to listen to this podcast. We also do a weekly live stream. Well, not live, but we do a weekly YouTube stream of the video. So if you want to watch that way, if you prefer to get on YouTube, enjoy your podcast. We are now there, and we've been there for a few weeks now, and enjoying it. So
By popular demand.
Popular demand. That's
They
right.
wanted to see our mugs. Why? I have no idea. But
I have no idea either.
yeah.
I don't know why they keep listening, but I appreciate that they do. All right, this is the Heroes by the Pint podcast. We are the Glassy Eyed Geeks, and we are out.